Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ethan of HardCap Games, and I have come to make an important announcement today. For 2 years, we at HardCap Games have been working hard, making content that is entertaining and varying in selection. We've been playing Zelda, Mario, Minecraft, even things like MLB The Show, and most notably, and I think what we are most talented at, is Pokemon. As the times change, so too must our content. Pokemon has been a part of my life for almost a decade at this point. I've played casually, I've done Nuzlockes, I've done Professor Oak's challenges, and I've even done solo runs in my time playing this game. And I believe it is time for a new venture. That is why I am proud to announce that I, alongside my fellow coaches, will be joining the Amber Family Gaming Pokemon Draft League as a coach of your Detroit Cobalions. In a Pokemon Draft League, a certain amount of coaches, in this case 16, will draft a team of Pokemon to compete over the course of a season. There will be 7 matches in this particular regular season, with the top 8 teams making the playoffs, competing for a championship. The teams will be completely unique, and no team has another team's Pokemon, making this a truly unique and skill-based operation. We at the Detroit Cobalions believe in being the pinnacle of sportsmanship, competition, and excellence. Over the last few days, I've had the distinct honor of meeting the other coaches and drafting our team of 10 Pokemon that we will take into this season proudly, searching for a championship. Now, this is personally my first time ever doing Pokemon Draft League content. However, I am confident in my ability to compete at this high level. It is the first time in Draft League for many of the coaches in the league. However, I do not believe that will detract from the quality that we are hoping to bring to you every week. I believe that my team and I drafted a team that gives us competitive balance and is full of excellent members that are hungry for wins. So with that being said, allow me to introduce you to your Detroit Cobalions for the AFG 2023 season. When the draft began, we did fall all the way down to the last pick of the draft, meaning we picked 16. However, this was a serpentine-style draft, which means we picked 16 and 17, and then we didn't pick again until 32-33, so on and so forth. When I discovered where my position in this draft was going to be, I was instantly a little disappointed. However, I realized that this gives me the opportunity to really just build whatever team I want with whatever is left when it gets to me every time. I was hoping that a handful of Pokemon would fall down the list to me, but I wasn't really expecting many of them to. However, there was one Pokemon that I was very, very excited to see fell all the way to number 16, and it was our first round pick, Landorus Incarnate form. Landorus Incarnate is a legend in more ways than one in Pokemon. It is a ground and flying type that gives it some great resistances, and its sky-high attacks makes this a mixed attacker monster. Since joining the Pokemon world in 2010, this Pokemon has yet to leave the Uber's tier, and for good reason. Coupled with its abilities Sheer Force and Sand Force, Landorus has the ability to hit its opponents ridiculously hard with some of the best offensive firepower in the game, and it has decent bulk to pair with it. Since I did get to go back to back, I didn't have to do any waiting on my second pick, and I grabbed the defensive behemoth that somehow fell to the second round, Corviknight. This 1-2 punch, while sharing a flying type, actually shares no weaknesses. Whatever one resists, the other is weak to, and whatever that one resists, the other is weak to, meaning they cover each other very, very well. Additionally, Corviknight's defense and attack stats are very high, as well as its defense, meaning that this Pokemon has the ability to be on the field for a long time and put in some offensive work. Additionally, its ability Mirror Armor means that all stat-changing moves and abilities do get returned to sender, and the offensive firepower of Landorus can U-turn pivot into the defensive prowess of Corviknight, which can thusly U-turn pivot back. These two should be ones that we're looking to bring every week, unless it's some weird circumstance where we think that they wouldn't necessarily be viable, but these Pokemon should prove to be difficult for any Pokemon trainer. While we waited our 30 picks for it to return, the other coaches grabbed some fantastic Pokemon on their own. When it came back to us though, the two that I wanted 30 picks ago were still sitting there, not changed at all. I knew when I drafted Landorus and Corviknight that I wanted to pair it with these two Pokemon, and I felt confident that they would both fall here, even though I think that they are some of the best Pokemon in the game for the value we get for them. The third Pokemon we drafted to our team is the starter duck Pokemon, quaquaval. Quaquaval is a fantastic Pokemon with some great moves, abilities, and a good typing to match. I believe that quaquaval synergizes with our team beautifully, being able to take out any ice or fire type that threaten our first two members, and it is able to be supported defensively by the other two. Quaquaval knows the moves Rapid Spin to clear out some hazards, Bulk Up to boost its defense and attack, has the ability Moxie which raises your attack if it knocks out the other Pokemon, and has the move Aqua Step which raises your speed every time it's used, essentially giving you a Dragon Dance if you knock out your opponent with Aqua Step. Additionally, quaquaval knows the move Ice Spinner, which is one of the best physical ice type moves that is available in the game, and it gets U-turn for pivoting purposes. We are very excited to see what quaquaval can do for us. The fourth Pokemon that we selected on our team is Ting Lu. This Dark and Ground type is a defensive monster with a massive attack to boot, similar to Corviknight. However, its ability Vessel of Ruin lowers its opponent's special attack by 25%, meaning its lower special defense isn't impacted all that much. Ting Lu is a phenomenal hazard setter. It can set rocks and spikes, and its ability to stay on the field but also hit like a truck makes it worthy of being our Terra Captain for the season with the types of ground and poison. I was very pleased with the draft up until this point, and it would continue to go the way I really wanted. I said to my friend Jacob, who was helping me with my team building and my draft, I really want these two guys to fall to me. And as a certain president once said, ladies and gentlemen, we got them. My 5th and 6th picks were a great 1-2 punch in my honest opinion, landing me Amoonguss with my first pick. Amoonguss is a defensive beast with the access to status moves like Spore, Stun Spore, and Toxic. The ability Stun Spore and Regenerator at its disposal, Clear Smog to clear out some stat changes. It has the ability to absorb Toxic Spikes, and it even gets Sunny Day and Rain Dance for support. This Pokemon is just naturally bulky and can absolutely tank some hits from its opponents, especially when paired with quaquaval. And our 6th pick, Arcanine. You know him, you love him. Arcanine is an all-around solid selection. He gets some great coverage moves and can fire off some incredible stab attacks, both physically and occasionally specially. Arcanine can run the ability Intimidate probably 95% of the time. However, it also has the ability to flash fire, which makes it immune to all fire type moves. Additionally, grabbing Arcanine fills out our fire, water, grass core, meaning this will actually really be the backbone of our team. When it came back around the second time, I looked around and I calculated how many points I had left for my draft, and I made the decision to draft Yuxi. However, after the draft, I realized that I didn't quite have enough speed, and I had enough points left to swap Yuxi out for its counterpart, Azelf. I love Yuxi. However, the decision to take Azelf instead weighed heavy on my heart. I felt that the speed that Azelf gives us, as well as the higher attack, would end up being more beneficial to us than just the defense that Yuxi can give us. Yuxi is a fantastic Pokemon in its own right, but I felt that Azelf gives us what we need to win more matches every week. Azelf still has a ridiculous move pool, it has coverage, and it has some gimmicks you can run with it, and it puts us into a speed tier that our team was previously lacking. Up until this point at the end of the draft, when I make this pick, Azelf is going to finish as our 2nd fastest player on our team. Now at this point, I felt like I needed a few more weapons to go along with my team. I felt like I was pretty defensive up until this point, and I needed to grab the best fairy left on the board. Fairy type is an invaluable type to have, and I really wanted one. I didn't get one early enough, so we decided to take Diancie instead. Diancie's HP is relatively low, but its defenses are through the roof, and it has decent mixed attacking potential. Coupled with the moves Body Press, Rock, Spikes, Diamond Storm, good steel coverage, Diancie operates in a specific niche in a lot of cases, but it does that very well. I think that Diancie gives us the ability to win a couple of matches, maybe not directly by setting up and sweeping, but by having the pure ability to just rack up some damage and absorb maybe 1 or 2 hits. The draft sends the picks on down, and coming back, I'm looking for Hisuian Qwilfish. However, it was taken about 20 picks before I got to pick, so I never really had a shot at it. At this point, because I haven't made the Yuxi to Azelf play yet, I was sitting at 106 points, leaving me with 14 remaining. I came up with a plot. As long as it came down this way, I would receive some absolute beasts to add to our squad to round it out at the very end. I knew that if I didn't leave myself at least 3 points, I wouldn't be able to do that Yuxi for Azelf play, which would leave me completely out in the open in terms of speed. My fastest Pokemon at that point in time was Landorus, which has a base speed of 101, which, if you know anything about competitive Pokemon, is not fast at all in the grand scheme of things. So I decided the play for Azelf at the very end of the draft would be within my best interest, and I decided to roll the dice. I still feel to this day, a couple days later, that it was the best move that I could have made at this point by grabbing the second fastest Pokemon in the metagame, Hisuian Electrode. Electrode is a little bit frail and doesn't hit the hardest, however it is the second fastest Pokemon in the game, only being outsped by Regieleki. The base speed stat of 150 is tough for really any Pokemon to beat. It has the ability to Volt Switch, set up Leech Seeds and Worry Seeds. It can agility into Electro Ball, and it can just kind of pull off a lot of shenanigans every now and then. You have to respect the speed that Electrode brings every week. Even if it isn't a Pokemon I'm going to bring every week, you have to anticipate that this Pokemon is going to be there and prepare thusly. With my last pick, I decided to grab Houndstone. Last Respects is banned in this league, so we can't do any of those strats. However, with Fluffy and its stats that it naturally has, Houndstone is able to put in some massive work and tank some devastating hits. Additionally, it does have the ability to run Sand Rush, which would set up double speed in Sandstorm. It gets priority with Shadow Sneak, it gets Will-O-Wisp, Play Rough, it just gets some awesome moves. While Houndstone might be our lowest point value Pokemon that we have, that doesn't mean it's bad by any means. My team and I were stoked that it fell this far because we love the value that it brings us. And with that, that does conclude this team recap. We will be doing Team Builder at the beginning of each battle, which I'm hoping will be going up on Saturdays, hopefully around noontime Eastern Standard Time, unless otherwise noted. Each week, we will be taking on a new coach, and while you might not be able to see everybody's perspective here, if you go to twitch.tv/NedgyBoston, the commissioner of the league will be doing a reaction to the matches every week. Additionally, go check out Amberflight Gaming on Twitter. The link to that is down below. And our first match this week is against Dragon Rider, also known as Dawn, the CEO of Amberflight Gaming and the Rainbow Road Ninetales. If you are excited, please leave a like down below. If you got this far, leave a comment about what member you're most excited about seeing in action. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode. Go Cobalions!
We'll be right back.